May 3rd, 2026. And ladies and gentlemen, Hamza Abdul Karim completely going off this week. And I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about. Also, Barcelona could cash in not on one, but on two defenders this summer transfer market. And finally, Barcelona considering the signing of El Cuti Romero as an option B. We have a lot to discuss. So let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. We'll begin this video with the amazing, incredible, wonderful news because, ladies and gentlemen, the Barca Feminine over this weekend defeated Bayern Munich 4-2 in the semi-finals of the Champions League, of the Women's Champions League, for an aggregate score of 5-3. And with this, the Barca Feminine have qualified to the final of the Women's Champions League, which will take place on May 23rd in Oslo. And it will be played against Olympique Lyonnais, which is the women's team of Olympique de Lyon, I think, right? I'm pretty sure. But anyways, the Barca Feminine, ladies and gentlemen, are in another Champions League final. It's their sixth final in a row. What an absolutely dominating performance by the Barca Feminine, making it to their sixth final in a row in the Women's Champions League. Amazing feat. By the way, they're already champions of the Liga F, or the Women's League, the best team in the world by far. And let's hope and wish that our Barca Feminine will be able to finish the job on May 23rd and win the Women's Champions League. Now, let's move on to the next bit of news because, as you know, we currently have a player on loan whose name is Hamza Abdul Karim, 18-year-old center forward from Egypt. He's here on loan until the end of the season. And of course, Barcelona is going to have to decide pretty soon on whether to sign him on a permanent transfer. And well, as we are approaching that deadline to decide whether to keep him or not, Hamza Abdul Karim decided, you know what? I'm going to make a strong case for myself because guess what he did this past weekend with the Juvenil A? Well, he decided to make a strong case on why Barcelona should keep him, and he scored not one, not two, but 3 goals, a hat trick by the Egyptian center forward. Now let's take a look at this hat trick by Hamza Abdul Karim. Now, after this cut, we'll see the first goal. Here we go, corner kick. Oop. Look how high he jumps. He's like above everybody, defenders, teammates, and voila. Here comes the first goal. He's a pretty tall guy, by the way, for an 18-year-old. Second goal, bounces off, and Hamza Abdul Karim is going to come in the frame, and another header. Right there, easy peasy. And now we're going to see the third goal. By the way, spoiler alert, also a header. Here we go. Cross into the box. Well-timed. And voila. By the way, great run here by Hamza Abdul Karim. Let's watch this one again because there he goes. He's looking at his teammate. He times it. Look, makes a run. Keeping an eye on it. Connects. And voila. A hat trick by the Egyptian center forward, who is considered the most promising player to come out of Egypt since Mo Salah, and he is making a strong case on why Barcelona should sign him on a permanent transfer at the end of this season. And honestly, I mean, I'm not basing this on the hat trick, but I think this is an easy yes because, as I always say, these are the kind of bets and gambles that Barcelona should be making. Young, promising players who don't cost that much because, hey, if they work out, voila, you hit the jackpot. You just sign a future star for nothing, kind of like when we signed Pedri. And if it doesn't work out, that's okay. You spent very little money. You could always recover it by transferring the player somewhere else. But of course, I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts. What do you think? Hamza Abdul Karim, should Barcelona sign him? Should they not? Let me know down below in the comment section. And with that, we'll move on to the next bit of news because Barcelona could cash in on the transfer of the former Barcelona player, Sergi Dominguez. Now, you might remember Sergi Dominguez. He spent some time last season with the first team at Hansi Flick. He was transferred over the summer to Dinamo Zagreb for 1.2 million euros. And of course, if you don't remember that much about him, he's 21 years old. He's a center back. And ever since he moved to Dinamo Zagreb, he has grown significantly. He's been getting a lot of minutes, the minutes that he needs to grow, develop, and start becoming the player that we all thought he could be. And that's exactly what has happened. He has become an essential player for Dinamo Zagreb. And in fact, he has been key in Dinamo Zagreb's league winning campaign because, yes, they are now champions of the Croatian league. And given the incredible performance of Sergi Dominguez with Dinamo Zagreb this whole season, he has started to attract attention from other clubs, including Lazio, who are reportedly very interested in signing Sergi Dominguez come this summer transfer market. And Dinamo Zagreb, of course, are not looking to sell Sergi Dominguez for anything less than 10 million euros. And in fact, they're saying they would like to get 15 million euros. That's the goal for Dinamo Zagreb, to get 15 million euros for Sergi Dominguez. Now, you're saying, Mo, why do I care if Dinamo Zagreb sell one of their players to Lazio? Well, that's because when Barcelona transferred Sergi Dominguez to Dinamo Zagreb, they retained 20% of his rights. So if he is sold for 15 million euros, well, we get 20% of that, which is approximately like 3 million euros, something like that. And of course, if he sells for 10 million, which is the minimum that Dinamo Zagreb would take, Barcelona would make 2 million. Not a lot of money, but hey, it's money. And of course, given the club situation, well, every penny counts. Now, let's move on to the next one news because Barcelona could cash in on another defender. This one is still a Barcelona player, and it's no other than Hector, for the 19-year-old right back currently on loan with Elche, because given his good season right before the injury, he has now started to attract some attention also from other European clubs, including Bayer Leverkusen, who have contacted Barcelona because they're interested in signing him this summer transfer market. Now, why is Hector 4 attracting so much attention besides the fact that he's had pretty good season with Elche? Well, that's because he's a fullback that can play both as on the right and on the left. And in fact, he even used to play as a center back when he was in the academy. So in other words, he's an incredibly versatile defender. And well, in this day and age, versatile defenders is exactly what teams are looking for. So Bayer Leverkusen interested in Hector 4, who currently has a market value of 12 million euros. So Barcelona, if they decide to sell him, they could get something around there, maybe 15 million euros. But of course, the question is, should Barcelona sign Hector 4? Because on one hand, very promising player, someone that can perhaps become the future right back of Barcelona. On the other hand, do we really have space for him? Because, of course, it looks like Koundé is staying for next season. Flick has already said that Xavi Espart has a guaranteed spot in the first team next season. And then, of course, there's also Eddie Garcia, who seems to play really well on that position. And then it's even Araujo, who seems to be a better right back than a center back lately. So it looks like it's a pretty packed position. So should Barcelona sell Hector 4, make some money, and then use that money to sign other players? Or should they keep him and see how much he has improved since going on loan to Elche? I want to hear you guys' thoughts, so let me know down below in the comment section. And speaking of defenders, we will end today's video with the news that Barcelona are seriously considering the signing of Christian El Cuti Romero as an option B. Now, as you know, Barcelona are in the market to sign a center back. Their number one objective is Alessandro Bastoni. Bastoni was already given the green light to go to Barcelona. So now Barcelona are negotiating with Inter Milan for the transfer of Bastoni. But of course, you always need options B in case that signing doesn't go through, especially since Inter Milan are insisting on 70 million euros, something that Barcelona are not willing to pay cash. They're considering player swaps or a discount. They're not looking to pay 70 million, but nonetheless, negotiations are still ongoing. But in case those negotiations fall through, Barcelona, of course, are considering option B for the center back, and they are now seriously considering the 28-year-old Argentine center back, El Cuti Romero, who currently has a contract with Tottenham until 2029. But nonetheless, he does have a release clause where if Tottenham do get relegated, he would be able to leave for 15 to 20 million euros. And given that, Tottenham could be relegated this season, that means that Barcelona could snap up a World Cup winning center back, a Europa League winning center back for between 15 to 20 million euros, which is a pretty cheap price. Now, why would Barcelona be interested in someone like Cuti Romero? Well, as Hansi Flick has put it in the in his conferences before, he wants a center back with experience, someone that could tell other center backs what to do or other defenders what to do, someone that could be like Iñigo Martinez. So this is where someone like El Cuti Romero would come in, or someone like Bastoni, who again remains number one, the number one option. Now, some drawbacks to the signing of El Cuti Romero, in my opinion. Number one, he is right-footed as opposed to what we're looking for, which is left-footed center backs. Two, he's kind of a little bit too aggressive for my liking. He's someone who gets a lot of cards. He's someone who you could easily see him get a red card in the Champions League knockout stage, if I want to put it that way. And of course, I feel like El Cuti Romero would probably need bigger tactical adjustment than Bastoni, because Bastoni is more of a player that likes to build from the back. They can push with the ball forward, something that Barcelona always enjoys in their center backs. Also, Bastoni plays in the line of 4 as opposed to Cuti Romero, who plays in the line of 3. So I feel like Cuti Romero would need a little bit more tactical adjustment. Nonetheless, it's still a pretty good center back. And of course, he would be option B. So don't think that Bastoni is no longer a thing. Barcelona are still working on the signing of Bastoni, but in case it doesn't happen, it looks like El Cuti Romero would be their number 2 option. And of course, my question to you is, what do you think about El Cuti Romero for Barcelona? Do you like it? Do you not? Let me know down below in the comment section. And with that, it's a wrap. I did go live a few moments ago. If you haven't seen that video yet, make sure to check it out. And of course, tomorrow is podcast day. So I hope to see all of you there. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, be scarce.